Hey y'all, welcome to Shade and the City. Now, usually, Nels, you're muted, by the way. Usually it's the really shady panel, but we're missing the really. Okay.
Where she be at?
All right. She ain't give us no notice or no nothing, blatant truth. That sounds like a write up to me. Hey, Quake, welcome. But yeah, y'all, we're here to do the Ready to Love season 11, episode 10 recap and review, the Detroit Getaway part 2. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. How many days was these people there? Because it seemed like it was maybe a good weekend. Like they seemed like they got there on Saturday and they left. No, I'm sorry, they got there Friday night and then they left Sunday morning. They checked out. It was, and that's why I don't. It was weird to me why they would make Shannon leave in the middle of the night because they literally left the next day.
Because Shannon shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Don't do that. Hey, Jaguar. Happy New Year. If I haven't talked to you, well, I think we did talk to you. Didn't we talk to you? I thought we talked to you, but you know what? I might be thinking of 4, so forgive me. But yeah, hey, Jaguar. Happy New Year, babe. So yeah, y'all, if y'all haven't already, please go ahead and do us a favor. Hit that like button.
And that subscribe button.
And y'all, let's go ahead and get into this foolishness and this show of friendship, because ain't no love on here. These are friends. How many of us have them? Friends. Hey, ones we can depend on. All right, yeah, let's get into it. Let's get shady.
On the skyline pain, shade in the city, true hits like a banger. I said it, I meant it, no need for disclaimers. Haters right away, but they just false claimers. Concrete beats are heavy like cinder. Looking for one, but the streets feel winter. No filters, no edits, I'm raw with my splinters. My life a movie, they watching the trailers. I'm not gonna hold you, shade in the city, there's life in the motion. Like and subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. This is my word, I just let you inside. City to city, I'm not gonna hold you, shade in the city, my words gon' console you. Like and subscribe if you're feeling the vibe.
I really wish they didn't mute my mic, because if y'all could hear how I be back here just singing. Okay, the things I'll be singing. All right. So yeah, y'all, let's get into this episode. Tommy meets with the guys. It's deliberation time, and Cardi tells Tommy that he's feeling Ashley and Dominique, I guess. And I don't even know why Ashley was included in this, but okay. And what was weird, because why wouldn't he say Ashanti? I don't know. These people confuse the hell out of me. If y'all can answer in the chat and just help me out, because again, these people are friends. So then Vince and Steven mentioned Donna. The guys decide that Shannon is cool, but she's very direct and gives real like sister vibes. And Vince, Cardi, and Bello all talk about how they don't like Lauren's ranking system. And I'm just going to say this. And this is when I said these are a bunch of men playing in our face, and these are a bunch of friends. Because you are on a dating show. You might as well be a game show, okay? And at this point, you should, at episode 10, before we even get to the getaway, we should have been locked in.
I like the fact that, so you see how they're talking about her in this ranking thing. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that when she brought it up to Steven said, oh, I'm not really trying to do the ranking thing. And she was like, but you should be.
Right.
But we are at that point where you should definitely have a ranking system. And who's your top pick?
I ain't gonna hold you. Steven disappointed the hell out of me. Steven disappointed the hell out of me. I swear.
That's why I'm not upset with the results.
I was just like, really, Steven? That's how you gonna go out? So then we move over to we see that Shannon is the one to get eliminated. She has a very tearful exit. And so then that's when Steven goes running after her. Okay. And he's like, oh, and he wants to comfort her. And Shannon said that, it made her heart feel better. And I said, why didn't y'all just lead a show together?
I felt like he was the main reason she even went home.
That's how I felt. That's why I was like, not you being in her face after you helped to get her eliminated.
You talking about you felt some type of way about the fact she messing up, you trying to get to know somebody else.
I don't know. I ain't like that either. But, she's like, oh, I really appreciate that. It made my heart happy. And so Dominique and Ashante are back inside in tears. And I said, well, I mean, I guess, they develop strong relationships. I ain't going to knock them for that. So Tommy instructs them to use their time wisely, which is the night, because they leave in the morning. So use these last couple hours before you go to sleep wisely, okay, to figure out, your remaining, what's going on with your remaining connections. And I said, y'all gonna stop playing in our face, okay?
Mm-mm.
And that's when we see Steven. He's just making his rounds at this point. Hold on, let me move it to the side. Pull it to the side. That wasn't appropriate. But anyway, so Steven goes to check on Lauren, and she feels like she doesn't know where he stands. And Lauren tells him that she's upset about being on the chopping block and feels like if anyone knows who she is, it should be Steven out of all people. And so she lets him know that she wants to know where she stands. And he talks about, look, I'm not really into your little ranking system situation. And so Lauren feels like, well, you should be, as Nell said, at this point in the process. And so Steven gives her a bunch of responses that, in my opinion, don't seem genuine. But did you get anything else from that, Nels? No. Hey, y'all. Okay. Hey, Mona. I see y'all rolling in the building. Sorry, I know it's impromptu. So I know y'all are slowly riding in, but we appreciate you showing up and supporting. And please make sure you hit the like button. All right. And subscribe as well. So then we see Lauren, who happens to be having a conversation with I think it was Bello, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I think it's this one.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lauren is having a conversation with Bello when Dominique comes over and has a seat. As you can see, we're covering Dominique, but she over here in the corner and basically kind of distracts Bello because he can't even hold the conversation because he keep looking over. And she said it was even to the point that he started whispering like the Yin Yang twins. Okay.
Oh, you know what? I don't know why. I thought when she said that he was whispering to Dominique. He was whispering to Lauren so that Dominique
wouldn't hear what they were talking about.
Ah.
Yeah. And I said, well, you know what? That to you, Lauren, should be a huge. First of all, Lauren, let's talk about why are you still here? I think you're a beautiful young lady. It's not that it's no shade to you. I just don't understand. You have no connections here. I don't believe.
To be honest with you, the only connection I thought maybe she could have tried to explore was with Steven. And then once that
was dead, right?
It was like, ma'am,
what are we doing here?
You got rid of the only person that can make you stay to the end. So guess you're next.
And what for me, I get it. You wanting to make it to the end and like wanting to be chose, but nothing to me is more embarrassing than you getting left. Like you might not even get a bridge scene. We might see a scene of him telling you, yeah, I'm picking somebody else, sweetheart. Sorry. Like, I just wouldn't even work my way up to that when I know it's not like genuine. Jaguar says everyone is doing the wrong thing this season. Shannon should have self-eliminated after Mercedes said none of the men have them as their number one. Absolutely agree. Steven should have self-eliminated and left with Shannon. Absolutely agree. Because for me, I know I'm not a contestant, but as somebody who was watching it, I was sitting back like the way he was kind of like distracted and emotional behind Shannon leaving, that would have turned me off. You clearly felt a way about this chick.
See, I can't get with you on that because I feel like he was the reason she left in the first place. So I'm like, you being, I think he was just emotional because she was emotional. I think he just felt bad about hurting her feelings. I don't think that he felt bad that she was actually gone. I think he just felt bad that he was the one that delivered the news and it hurt her feelings.
Right. Mona said, Lauren, why? This man's actions spoke louder than his in any words Bello speaks. I absolutely agree.
Mm-hmm. And you still need to ask him if he was a side chick.
But people be so, again, they just want to be in love so bad. So then before dinner, we see they giving out succulents. This is when Steven lost everybody in the room. Because Bello gives Dominique one inspired by Mexico, which is where he wants to take her. And I said, okay. And she gives him a kiss in front of the whole room. So they like, oh, y'all locked in. And so Ashanti feels away. And she was like, well, I thought we still had a chance, but now I see him loving all over Dom. I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm good.
And that's what Dom wants.
Right. Cardi says, seeing the connection with Dom and Bello has made him zero in on his connection with Ashanti. And so then they give succulents to each other. And that's when Darius gives one to Ashley. Lauren has one for Steven. We know Ashley had one for Darius that was like about his mom, because we know he talks a lot about that, which I thought that was super sweet and thoughtful.
Super sweet
and thoughtful at that.
Mm-hmm.
Then Vince and Donna, of course, exchange, and then Steven is like Oprah because everybody gets a succulent.
You get a succulent. You get a succulent. You get a succulent.
And so everybody got one except poor little Donna.
I was about to say, except for Donna.
And so then Donna's feeling a certain way because she's like, I mean, what do you mean? Why didn't I get one? And so Steven claims, it was my bad. I might have messed up. I was just a little. He said his flabber was gasted when Shannon got sent home. Okay. And he said he's emotionally tapped out. And I said, well, if that's how you feel, then that means you need to leave. Okay. Mona, did Ashanti leave with Cardi? I don't know. Maybe she did. Hey, Michi. I don't know. Jaguar said Lauren was too cool for school and it bit her in the ass. She said on her podcast with Ed, she knows it's competition, but she's not going to compete. Now she's running around now trying to make a connection. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hey, Biddy, welcome. Now we move on to Ashley. Do you want to get into this? Because I really ain't got nothing for you. I literally have one sentence because I was so checked out of this because he is playing in her face. The love bombing, the chinchilla, it's just too much.
I don't think I said much about this either. But so Ashley sat down with Darius. She just, she feels like he's genuine, but she still wants to dig a little bit deeper because, he gives suavemente. Okay. She let him know that God is huge in her life and wanted to know who leads him. And I don't really feel like he answered the question for real. He just basically told her, like, I love that for you.
He said, I love that for you. And he said, yeah. And I felt like he skirted. It just, that's why I said I didn't have much. What did y'all think in the chat? What did you feel about this?
Did you feel like he answered her question?
I felt like he said, I would want a woman to be into that.
Yes, but she asked him, who leads you? And he didn't give an answer.
Well, to me, and I heard it somewhere else, and I actually thought it was a very good opinion. A lot of people feel like in situations like that, and you can tell me because you probably dated most recently, where they say you shouldn't tell people like what you're looking and let them like see who they are and let them bring it to you. But she's making it very clear, like, oh no, and he's giving her all the answers that she kind of wants.
A normal dating situation. We ain't got too many weeks left. I'm not waiting for anything. I want you to answer my damn question.
Okay, Mona said Darius is playing games. Hey, Tiffany. He didn't really answer the question. He basically tried to mirror her. That's what I was saying. He mirrored basically being what she wanted. And I heard somewhere else where they were like, you shouldn't do that when you're dating, because that you have people like Darius who get by just showing up as the person you want rather than who they actually are.
Mm-hmm. So then, everybody packed up to leave the getaway. And when they got back home, Lauren decided she wanted to take Vince out on a date. Okay.
And this is when I said, you're trying too hard.
With Vince anyway, he locked in with somebody else. Okay. She wants to see where things are with them since, it's been a little rocky. She says she doesn't feel like the way things played out with her and Steven. She doesn't really like the way things played out with her and Steven at the getaway. So Vince says that he believes that their connection can grow stronger and actually wanted to offer her friends an apology. And really it was given, y'all are in control this week and I don't want to go home. So I'm going to say whatever.
Yeah, no, but I thought it was a bit extra when he was like, oh, can you relay the apology? And she was like, no, we can call him right now. We can call him right now. We can do it right now.
And she definitely picked up the phone and did.
And I was like,
he was like, don't we okay that?
And my whole thing is, I'm like, yes, you want your friends to like a person. Like if you didn't like somebody, it would definitely.
But I think that they were okay with him and what happened. Right. He was the one that had an issue.
Yeah, she's the one that kept pressing it. It was like, girl.
So he basically let the friends know, that he understands like that it was a joke, but he feels like they were misreading each other. And the friend said, it's okay, but we was rooting for you. All right. We still here. And she basically gave him his flowers about his character and told him the things that, she likes about him. And
said, you are sweet. You are kind. You are handsome.
Well, it earned him a kiss on the
On the
cheek.
cheek. I was gonna say on the cheek.
Yes, on the cheek.
I just want so much better. I think she is such a beautiful girl, and I just want so much better for her than these men. And her match isn't here. That's just what it is. Lauren, this is why you will not be on the bridge next week. Exactly, Mona. Thank you so much. So then we're gonna move over to, I'm not even gonna hold you. The way Dom laid into Cardi, boy, I was like, and he was like, well, you know, if I know one thing, she gonna be truthful. And that she was. So Dom and Cardi link up because Cardi realizes that, you know, damn, I slipped up, and I realized on the trip or whatever that, you know, Bello had her locked down. I need to, you know, apply a little bit more pressure. And so Dom says that, you know, everything was overwhelming for her because she's not going to deny her connection with Bello. So Cardi says, you know, I wish I would have spent more time with you on the getaway. And then Dom said, well, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
But you didn't.
But you didn't. Okay. And so she was like, you know, I went, she said, you know, that being friends isn't enough for me. And I went where the pressure was applied. And I said, well, you know what? I ain't even mad at her for that.
She said, don't call. She said, look, she said, don't call brew me.
I did like that. She's like, don't call brew me.
She said, brew. Don't call
Lauren
brew.
sat in that lounge and lied to everybody saying that he called her friends to apologize. She called and basically coerced that man.
My notes. Jaguar. I my notes too, because did you see Donna's face when she said that? Because it does, it that makes a difference. That makes a difference when you're saying that he's the one that called. Basically, he's making this effort and going out of his way. No, boo, that's not what happened.
Right.
You called your friends against his will because he was like, don't I need to okay that first? He really didn't want to even talk to the friends. Talking about he called.
That's why he said relay.
Mm-hmm.
Mona said Dominique was playing a reverse Uno on Cardi. Okay. But have y'all noticed? And I wonder, please weigh in the chat because I really want to know what y'all think. Do y'all think that this is going to come back and bite Dominique in the arse? That she's cutting off any connections she had for Bello, and Bello still lingering around with these other connections? I don't know. I'd love to know your thoughts. Drop them in the chat. You can get into this Ashanti and what's the name, Bello, because again, I felt like at this point, I don't know what to believe because he's playing in everybody's face.
So Ashanti and Bello, they're out on a date. She said she wants to get to the bottom of things. And, you know, she basically let him know at the getaway, he was moving like he already had his mind made up. Okay. And he was. Okay. He said, you know, Dom feels familiar, but he's done that in the past and he's trying to navigate that. So she wanted, you know, I feel like they really didn't get into much. They didn't really get into all of that. She wanted to dive into what drove him into self-help. And he was talking about how he got expelled when he was younger, hanging out with the wrong crowd. And then, you know, he took the anger that he had out on other kids and moved it onto the football field because of his shift in environment. And, you know, she said that she can relate basically. And when her dad passed, that's when the shift in her switched. I didn't really feel like they really got into much. I know that they feel like they
have this deep connection, right?
Exactly. And maybe, who knows, maybe it was edited out, but besides the book that he only knows 3 people read, I ain't seeing it.
Well, I'll say this. I think that his attraction, his physical attraction to Dom is there. Mm-hmm. But I think his mental attraction to Ashanti is, in my opinion, I do think that they have a little bit, like it's a little bit more than surface. Hey, Chuck, I was wondering if you was gonna pop in. Hey, Chuck. But Mona, I had you up on a screen because is the finale next week? Because if it is, this is wild. I thought they were meeting the families next week. If they haven't, like the bridge scenes,
but remember they've done that before where they've met the families and then
did the
finale.
You're right. They have done that. They have. Jaguar said Lauren exposed the type of woman she is. Anything sexual is reward based with her. When Vince basically did what she wanted, she gave him a kiss. She looks like she holds the cat if chores are not done. Oh no, not holding back the cat.
Wow.
Okay, Jaguar. So then we get into the ladies. They meet up in the lounge, and this is when, I'm just gonna keep it real. Donna and Lauren, they both say Vince. Ashley says Darius, of course, and then lets all the ladies know that she is currently driving his car because hers is in the shop. So she let y'all know that's her man, her baby. All right. And so Dom says Bello, and so does Ashanti, which of course, and then so does Lauren. So Lauren brings up how, he got really quiet on the getaway when one of his connections came around. She never said the girl name. However, so she said something triggers in Dom, and she calls her out and was like, nah, if you talking about me, just put a name on it. Just say something. And I was like, girl, you on a dating show. And he's dating multiple people. Okay. So Cardi and Steven are on the chopping block, as we know. Lauren says she wants Steven to figure out what he wants to do. And then Dom yells, well, I ain't even know y'all had a connection because he was by himself the whole time. I said, catty much?
She was being a little catty.
Very catty. And I feel like she took that last little dig because the girl says,
I think she didn't understand what Lauren was saying. Mm-hmm. I think that she thought that maybe Lauren was trying to take a dig at her or say something about her. And it really didn't have anything to do with Dom. If anything, it should have been a compliment to Dom. Mm-hmm. Girl, you came in the room and this man got quiet. He didn't really want to talk to me and acting like I'm really not even there. Just basically all up in your stuff.
Right.
And I think Dom, she wasn't really paying attention. She didn't really understand what the girl was saying.
She just heard her man's name and felt away. So exactly. Then Chuck said, Dom lost me this episode. Agreed. Tiffany said, girl, it wasn't about you. Lauren was just pointing out how he shut her down. Right. Mona said, okay, Dominique, your slip was showing. Very much so. Very much so. And I think, again, because she's cut off most of her connections at this point, now she's feeling the way, still hearing that he's still dipping into the cookie jar. Dom showed that nasty, jealous side, right? So then we move over to, of course, we have the eliminations. And unfortunately, it's a double elimination, okay? Because Shanti invites Cardi out and admits that, my bad, I ain't spent much time with you. I was kind of, doing other things. But she says that he comes off as funny and she thinks he does that to hide things that he doesn't want to share. And so she said, baby, you're just not ready to love. It wasn't too much on that. And he just sat there. Because I don't know if I believe Cardi was really feeling anybody anyway here. He didn't put enough effort into anyone, in my opinion.
Yeah. But
then what the surprise for me was when we get Lauren and Steven, she tells him, I feel embarrassed that people don't even know we have the connections because our interactions are so private. And so she says, the ladies feel like he's emotionally unavailable. And he was like, oh, well, what did he say to her that was real? And that's why I said, oh, if you weren't going home, that just sent you home. Well, he said something to her where like, oh, maybe next time or the right person or something like that, which let us know he didn't think that person was there. Because that's why he's not doing it or showing up anymore, is what I got from it. But yeah, she let him know, he ain't ready to love either. And that was this episode. It was time for both of them to go. Well, here's my only problem, Chuck. Now we have what? 3 men? Bello. Who we have? Bello, Darius, and Vince. And we have what? Still 5 women left. So we about to have an all-out brawl over these men that, not, in my opinion, are not worth that. somebody gonna get left at the bridge, and more than likely, unfortunately, I think it's gonna be poor little Lauren. I think Vince is gonna go with Donna. Obviously, Darius is gonna go with Ashley and mess up her life. And you know how that go. Cardi,
you look older than 42.
who?
Dom.
Oh, Mona said 3 men, 5 women. Thank you so much, my virtual co-host. That's why I love y'all. Cardi was feeling Christina. Okay, Mona. And you know what he was? Cardi gave up when Dom turned to Bello. He absolutely did. And that's why she was like, no, baby, you were supposed to apply pressure. Cardi looked soft in the Exes episode, and his stock was sliding ever since. I agree. Steven was too chill. He needed to be more assertive. The double was expected based on the trailer. Editing needs to step it up. I love you, Jaguar. I swear. Tiffany said Dom always showed her age. She's always been my favorite with looks and style, but she's always looked older than 42. You know what, Tiffany? Because it's after church services, I'm gonna let you know what I mean. I'm gonna let you ride. But I don't know why you gotta be like that on a Sunday. No, I'm just messing with you. I think if she is 42, she's a good looking 42.
I think she looked good.
I think she looked real good. Dom and Lauren can go. Okay, Chuck. We'll see. Well, y'all, we appreciate you for being here with us for this very quick recap. Really, be gonna be like, not that she's losing any tears about the fact that she please understand that really B ain't losing no sleep, okay? But yeah, we appreciate y'all tuning in. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and do us a favor, hit that like button,
make sure you comment,
make sure that you guys subscribe,
and you hit the notification bell,
and make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook, the IG, the Blue Sky, the Lemonade, and the Snapchat, y'all. And yeah, we will catch you, I guess, next week for what y'all say is gonna be the finale. So we gonna see who get left at the bridge. But I appreciate y'all. Jaguar said this is a speed dating show. Questions should be asked and answered rapid fire, especially at this stage of the process. There should be clarity. I agree. You should know if you and the other person are actually aligned. Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree, Jaguar. Thank you so much, Mona. Y'all have a great, blessed week as well. And yeah, we'll catch you next week. Well, actually, Nels won't because she'll be popping out a baby. Okay? But me and Really B will catch y'all next week. Love y'all. Bye-bye.